Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mortal Jellyfish video. Today we got balloons versus ender pearls for you. Now if you do like Bedwars content, make sure to like and subscribe. I post almost every day with that new Bedwars content for you to watch. Yeah, so today's video was inspired by a comment from Doomy, who said he wants to see me compare balloons versus pearls. And I said, yep, that sounds like a solid video. And yeah, now I don't have to come up with an idea because somebody did it for me. So yeah, anyways, let's move into the pros. So we're going to do this in a pros and cons fashion. We're going to start off with balloons, so we'll start with balloons pros, and then we'll move into balloons cons, and then we'll move into the pros of pearls, and then the cons of pearls, and then we will, at the end, have the typical, like, what's better overall in my opinion. I mean, you don't have to agree, that's just life, everybody can have their own opinion. Anyways, let's move into the pros of the balloons. Obviously, my first pro is going to be that you can TNT spam from above. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and demonstrate what I mean for anybody who does not understand what that means. So a TNT spam is going to look something like this. I went ahead and covered this bed here for a better example. But we just basically bomb their entire island. We come on in and we mine their bed. Now, I didn't have to pop all my balloons to get down here, and we'll talk about why you should and shouldn't do that. So popping all your balloons is cool when you want to get down here faster. Say you got like an iron axe and you can insta-break it, and the enemies they're swarming back in after the TNT explosions. They're like, man, gotta cover the bed, and they start spamming. Well, that's when you want to pop your balloons, because you want to get down here ASAP with that iron axe and just one-shot the bed. Boom, gone. But a reason why maybe you don't want to, pop all your balloons. Let me show you here. So if we, whoops, I did not mean to fall off. So if we take 3 balloons here and we're coming up, obviously you can't hit the bed with 3, but with 2, I've learned that if you're smart with it and the enemy doesn't build, you can actually mine this block and then hit the bed underneath, actually, which that works pretty well. Also, let's pretend this bridge is in here, and say you kept your 2 balloons and nobody hits you, you can just see ya. And this is going to be a pro that balloons have over ender pearls, as if you can keep some of your balloons with just 2 emeralds, you can get in and get out from like a push or whatever, a bed break or whatever. So yeah, and then yeah, I think that moves right into to our next one. So we got like 2 and 3 are kind of mixed together, and that is easy to control at use at a pro level. I think anybody can use balloons at a super effective level. Like, they're not hard to use. I think anybody can use them. They're pretty easy. I mean, it's just like, oh no, I'm gonna jump off. Oh wait, balloons. Like, anybody can do this. Now, obviously we're gonna get into the cons of that. You couldn't do that if you were stabbed or something, but I mean, like, just look, like, anybody can do, I can do this obviously pretty well as well, but I mean, like, anybody can do this. Oh, we're about to hit the roof. We don't want to hit that, so we're just gonna come down. Oh, let's say we got sniped and we're at like 1 hit left, so we just pop all of our balloons, you know, but then you just pop them they're easy to use. Like, balloons are not hard. Unless you're on a 5-second CD, which we're going to talk about later, balloons are easy to use, okay? I don't think anybody's going to argue that. But yeah, balloons are great for pre-planned attacks, and I say this because, so this is actually my bed, so we'll just say I'm here. I picked up some balloons from the shop, and I could do something like this. If my enemies don't see me, and this is how you can completely bypass the whole like 5-second cooldown or worrying about it, you just yeet yourself off right here. Once you're low enough altitude, pop the second one so you slow your descent a little bit better. And then once you're about to peak up, you can hit the 3rd one and you start coming up. And then boom, now you've made this like sneaky pre-planned attack. And I mean, you could TNT here if this was covered up or whatever. Or if it was like this, you know, you could just start mining it. So yeah, I mean, balloons are really good at pre-planned attacks like that too. I think balloons right now with the CD nerf that happened, they're a lot better off on an offensive use and not so much like a defensive, oh, I got knocked off, let me use it, because you obviously can't do that no more. So yeah, I mean, you can if you use the bypass, but we're not talking about glitches. I don't support the use of glitches and stuff like that. I'd rather just see them all fixed, but yeah. So you could bypass it if you know the glitch. We're not going to go into that. There's already lots of videos on it. You can find it somewhere else. But anyways, yeah. So basically, in my opinion, balloons have become more of an offense item rather than a defensive item. So let's talk about cons of balloons now. There's got to be some downsides, obviously. And that's going to be your 5-second delay off any sort of damage. And when I say any sort of damage, I mean any sort of damage. Like, well, that would have been nice if it gave me fall damage, but it did not for whatever reason. So let's go up one more. Alright, you can see that the fall damage has triggered the CD. Like, I cannot use it, and now I can't. So any sort of fall damage or any damage in general is going to stop you from using balloons. So yeah, that is probably the biggest downside to balloons, and I mean that is the most recent nerf, but yes, it truly is the biggest downside to balloons now. The biggest reason why I would say not to use it. And hopefully this bed breaking does not cause me to die later in this video. So anyways, next up is slow movement. Like, I think it's obvious that, like, yeah, balloons, you know, you can move with them pretty quick, but you're still relatively slow. So if I start going this way and the enemy sees me going this way, he's just going to rotate with me. And it's pretty easy to keep up with, even if they don't have balloons and they're on feet. The only advantage you have is not having to jump up stuff or worry about obstacles. You could go into the map. Basically, you can control your altitude and go where you want, which is the only real perks of it. Balloons aren't really faster than people, so that's going to be a con, because obviously pearls do a whole lot better job of actually outrunning people. And the next one is they're easy to predict, and this goes with the slow movement. When somebody, like, so say I broke this guy's bed, and now he's like, he just pops balloons and he's going this way. I can easily predict that he's going over here, so I'll just naturally start rotating this way with him. So yeah, unless balloons are used to like how I showed you earlier where I dove under the map and then I came up, most people don't see that one, but good players will see it. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty predictable. You can tell where somebody with balloons is going, typically. The next thing is, it can make you easy to snipe. Now, that's pretty obvious. I don't think I need to fly around and explain why you're easy to snipe in the air. You're basically defenseless in the air when you're flying around. You can't really build around yourself or anything like that. You can shoot back with a bow, but I notice when you shoot with a bow with balloons out, you are really, really slow. So, yeah, that's gonna be the end of balloons for us. We're gonna move into pearls now. So yeah, the pros of pearls, and obviously that first perk is going to be almost instant movement. Now I know the pearl has some air time and it takes a bit to get to where it's going, but it's practically instant. I mean, if we pulled out the balloons and tried to fly, that would take a whole lot longer. So pearls' first pro is that they're almost instant movement. Now the second pro is going to come with that instant movement. So we got to go back over here so I can line up how I plan to show this to you guys. So yeah, right here. This guy's coming after you, right? He's rushing you mid because he wants to stop you from getting to his bed over there. So, you know, you lure him in, he keeps chasing, and then you just go whoop over there. Of course, I mean, learn to aim faster than me because I'm still working on my pearls. I haven't been using them. I've been lazy with the balloons for a long time, like everybody. And now he's over there and I'm over here. I mine his bed. By the time he gets back here, I'm ready to fight. So yeah. Second pro is really good for juking enemies with pearls. You can really fake people out a lot with these. You can even do a classical, like, jump off the map and then throw a pearl up. Although I'm not going to do that because I don't want to die and have to start and edit a whole nother custom game into this match. So that's going to move us into the third pro, which is can save you from the void. Now, balloons can do this too, and pearls can as well, but obviously if you're in the void with a 5-second cooldown, you're probably dead. With pearls, you could get back up, but it is relatively hard. You really, like, here, I'll just pre-throw this and then jump, just so I don't mess it up. This is not the time to be testing my pearl throws, okay? So anyways, you know, oh, it saved me, yay! Even though I pre-threw that, like, super early. To actually swap and throw is actually really hard. You have, like, half a second to a second to switch and throw the pearl, and you can't arc the pearl. If you arc the pearl like this when you're falling down, more than likely it's not going to hit land before you hit the void death spot. So yeah, I would saving with pearls is very hard, but it's definitely a pro we have to count because you can do it, and it doesn't have the 5-second CD after being hit. So because a lot of the time you're in the void because somebody knocked you in, and so that's where balloons fall off with that one, and pearls do not. And then the last pro I have here is it's hard to predict your movement with pearls. Like, if somebody's watching you and, like, yeah, they could see you throw the pearl and they're like, oh, he's going that way. But, I mean, with the instant, like, boop over there, I mean, like, it's going to be a little hard for people to predict where you're 100% going. I mean, you could just warp around them and whatnot. So, anyways, let's talk about the cons of pearls before this video gets way too long. Pearls have a high skill cap, and I say this because I think a lot of, like, pearl skill is, like, you don't want to obviously sit here and flex your pearl in front of people. Like, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, look, I got a pearl, guys, look at me. And then they're like, oh, he's got a pearl, now I know he's gonna go somewhere. Instead, I would recommend, like, holding something in your hand and then just being like, boom, instant swap and switch. So all they see is the pearl flying through the air, and that's the only time they have to react. I would not never wander around with a pearl in your hand. As a good player, you'll see this and you'll be like, oh, that guy's about to pearl over here, so we better make sure he doesn't juke us with that. I see it a lot in duels. People will be like, they'll go to juke me for my bed and they'll be like, oh, he's coming, I got it. And then they're just sitting here doing this with the pearl in their hand. They're like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then it's just like, I'll just go sit at my bed because I know that's what they're trying to do. And it's so, I just don't make your pearl predictable. You want to keep it discreet as possible. And then yeah, so yeah, they have a high skill cap because you don't want to flex your pearl out like that. In other words, they become predictable. The other thing is they're a high skill cap because you can save yourself all the time pretty much with pearls. But when you're falling, it's a bit harder to do so. Yeah, and then they're hard to use, obviously, to save yourself from the void, which is one of the other things I had written down here. And then the other thing is, though, you can't get out with a pearl. So I don't know if any of you know this, but let me grab a few blocks. Okay, so I have this beautiful bed cover set up here, and now this is something I think people should know with pearls too. You can very easily rush beds with pearls. Typically, I like to do it with fireballs, because if you pearl over, then TNT, there's a lot of time you're spending at their base, and if people are there, it's really hard to line up. So what you want to do is you want to fireball this, line up the pearl, and then get ready to mine that. So you see how that works a lot better than if I pearled over here and tried to TNT. That would be pretty rough. Now, that's going to lead us into the fourth con of pearls, and the last con I have for pearls, and that's that you have no way out, unless you bring another pearl, which means you would need 4 diamonds, well, 4 emeralds, where balloons you could get in and out theoretically with just 2 emeralds. Now, you could always bridge back out, but people can follow this, or let's say they had a bridge here, people can follow this, so it's not as good as like if you balloon jumped over to a diamond island or something like that. But yeah, I mean, if you have a second pearl, just eat yourself out. Typically, when I rush with pearls, I make sure I have 2, that way I can get in, I can break the bed, and then I can get right back out. That's typically how I rush with pearls, because I know I'm going to need 2. Now, I do kind of like the pearl rush, although I feel like it is more expensive. You're going to need 4 emeralds probably, where I could probably get it done with 2 emeralds with balloons. And then obviously you're going to want 1 or 2 fireballs, and those are 90 a piece, where balloons, you know, obviously you're getting TNT at 40 iron a piece, so yeah. Anyways, this is going to take us into the portion of the video where I tell you guys my personal opinion on what I think is better and what's not better. Now, personally, I still be using both of these now. Like, it used to always be just balloons. Like, I would only use balloons. Like, there was no reason to use anything else. Why would you ever use pearls with how strong balloons were back in the day is beyond me, except for the fact that maybe you wanted to get somewhere faster. But now with the CD, this makes it where I always am deciding which one is better for what I'm gonna do. So, like I explained, if you want the advantages of the pearl, well, obviously you want to buy the pearl, and if you want the advantages of the balloon, buy the balloon. That said, lately I've been really honestly buying more pearls than balloons now, because I feel like pearls are just stronger now. And yeah, I'm still wanting to master them a bit better myself. So yeah, I think if you're trying to do the best you can, I think learning how to use pearls to replace your balloons is a good way to go. But if you're on a budget and you're just trying to snag a bed real quick and you're pre-planning that attack, I think balloons are the way to go. I still catch myself doing that in games. I'll be like, I know I'm going for this bed, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get it with balloons. So, you know, I pre-plan my attack, I'm ready with my fireballs or my TNT, and then, you know, you can never go wrong with that, and we're dead. Anyways, so yeah, I just want to say, don't use balloons like how you just saw there. That's probably a terrible idea, and that's one of the downsides of the balloons now, is if they pop or mess up on you, or somebody pops them and you fall on your TNT, you're going to take the damage, fall damage, you won't be able to recover if you blow yourself off the map. So yeah, balloons are a bit risky. This is why I've been using fireballs and pearls typically to get beds that are really protected. That's the smart way to go. Anyways, on that note, I would like to thank the members of the channel. So thanks, Mama Peace, for being a member of the channel. And on that note, guys, I will see you in the next video or stream. Peace out.